Grand Rising! Thank you all for joining us on another Wednesday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and I am so excited because this month of October, this is October 1st, we are launching some fabulous things, and we'll be sharing them with you throughout the month as we grow and expand and give you an opportunity to share your wisdom and insight in whatever area of life you are expressing yourself. Today, we're bringing you two fabulous sisters who are dynamic in lifting up our youth and allowing them to express themselves through the creative arts. Art is a healing property. And for those of us who work with youth, we know that our youth are so creative, so intelligent. And when we don't suppress them, we experience the wonderful gifts that they are. They are the fruit of our wombs. So today, we're going to bring you the work of those who are working with those who come from our wombs. And they have an organization called Wombwork. We'll be right back after we greet our family. We'll see you in just a moment.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Yes, this is the Female Solution, and we know that we have the solution to every issue we're facing today. Well, I want to bring you two of the solution presenters, and they have a wonderful organization called Wombwork. So you can see their names on the screen. Of course, we got our dear sister, Mama Rashida, and Mama Kay, and they are some dynamic women who have created Wombwork. So let me ask you first, both, and you can give a little background of both of yourselves, and tell me what is the meaning behind the name Wombwork. How did that get started?
Well, there were actually three of us, and
Yes.
she's still around doing great work, and I hope you can get a chance to meet her at some point, too.
Absolutely.
Mama Nataska Hassan, Forman
Yeah.
Bay. I'm Forman Bay. What I'm calling you?
Mama Nata Oscar Wapajea Walks on Water. There were three of us who started about 28 years ago. We were three mothers who wanted to make a difference in our communities, and we were also artists. And it started out as a domestic violence theater project,
Yes, it
summer
did.
project,
You remember
working
that?
with youth. Yes, 28 years. And then we moved on to include all kinds of issues that we deal with young people.
Mm.
So we, from dating violence to HIV prevention, any subject matter, we tackle those using real stories, actual information, and dance and music and yoga, all indigenous practices. It might be sweat lodge, it may be prayer, all of the things that we use, circles, healing circles, to give young people the space to tell their real stories.
And now we have all groups: an adult group, a teenage group, and a 5 to 12-year-old group. So there's something for everyone.
Because our mission
That is
actually is to
fabulous.
heal. Yeah, our mission is to heal and empower youth, their families, and communities while preserving cultural legacies through the performing arts. Because we believe and we have witnessed the power of the arts to heal.
That's true.
Mhm. You know, that is definitely the case. And I have seen that, and I've had an opportunity to produce stage productions with young people and heard some of their spoken word, which of course have mastered this language to be able to express their thoughts. So now, how did Wombwork Productions get started? I see that you have produced. I guess this was a stage play. I Want to Live.
Yes,
That's one. That's our latest.
That's our latest.
That's one of our latest pieces that we did this summer.
Now this summer, we each summer our teens actually tackle a different issue. And when we started, I said we started out as a domestic violence summer project. And so we that was one issue, but we grew because we've been around for 28 years. We grew to, and as we were growing, we talked about every issue from suicide prevention to HIV prevention, drug prevention. Last year we did a show on drug prevention, any issue, childhood sexual assault, whatever the issue is, we talk about it. The young people research it. They tell the stories. They share their own real stories. Sometimes we may tell one person's story, and the person whose story it was may not be acting it out, but somebody else will act out their story. And because we believe that your story is my story. I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper.
So it's life changing watching young people experience these things, and we watch them change and grow in such magnificent ways. It's amazing.
We have some young people who are now some of our teaching artists, because we provide programming in schools all over the East Coast and particularly in Maryland, all over the state. But we do these teaching artists were also started when they were 14-year-olds, and they're still with us. Many of them are in our touring company, and they started out as teens. They're in their 40s now, and they're still acting and sharing what they do.
They're really taking over.
Yeah,
to do so.
Wow, that is amazing. You mentioned a lot of really deep subjects: domestic violence, sexual assault, and these tend to be those things that are so traumatizing to a young person, and they often get suppressed when it comes to them being able to tell somebody what's happening, or they get blamed for something that's happening. That had to really been challenging, even to get them to open up. What were some of the challenges in getting them to trust enough to open up and talk about what they were experiencing?
I think the process of trust, of them learning that we are a community, from exercises and meditation and yoga, being able to dialogue about any topic, and making a safe place is a way that I think many of them open up. What do you think, Mama?
Sure, yeah. And also we have professional, we've had therapists come through to lead group discussions where they, like even when we had a gang violence prevention show, we had to get people who were a part of those organizations, right, to come and as consultants, so that young people could be able to talk. Many young people we had that were able to get out of certain gangs. Some of them had to be removed to different locations because we did this show. And really, it's healing for the people that the actual actors, but also for the audience, because our shows act as a mirror for the audience to view itself, for us to really go inside and see what's happening in our community, because the stories are real, they're true, and nothing's like the truth. We have times sometimes where, I know when we were doing the HIV show, you remember, Mama Kay, that was a subject matter that nobody wanted to talk about.
Of course.
So we had some parents who wrote their stories anonymously. We retold those stories. Some of the young people who had family members who maybe the day of the show, they revealed, oh, I couldn't tell it because I was so sad, but my uncle is living with it, or my aunt, or, and that was the time. So we're there to hug, to share, to let young people, it's really a way for them to release, and
Very
And
powerful.
yeah, it's you know, I feel very honored that Mama Kay and I have been able to do this work because, because it makes us be aware. We also, sometimes when we're doing theater, particularly working in the African American community, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to go back to onion. Before we can do theater, we got to talk about skin color and how our
Oh,
nose and how our lips look and deal with issues about hair and all those kinds of things. So that our young people can really begin to heal.
And elevate
Yes.
and love themselves.
And love themselves. Because if you love yourself, that determines whether or not how successful you are. So this theater is a way to love on our young people, to help them love themselves more.
so did you find that some of those same old issues are still things that they deal with? The dark skins versus the light skins, and is your hair too short, or you have to have a straight haired weave to feel good about your attractiveness. All these things. You all are poor. You don't have any money. I mean, all of those things that affect our self-esteem and feelings of worthiness or love. Do you find that that's still a common thing that young people are struggling with?
Unfortunately, it's 2025 and we are still dealing with hair issues, skin color issues, and how young men and young women feel about themselves. But what we find is once you learn something about your history and you understand the history of how oppression and has affected our community and racism, and the young people are able to talk about it and dissect it and look to see in history what happened, it changes their trajectory. They begin to see, when you know that you come from a long line of great people who did some great things, inventors and, people who stood up, freedom fighters. It changes the young people's attitude about who they are. Once you connect with, knowing that I'm not my hair, I am really this beautiful, beautiful being. And so when you're on stage and you talk about it and you act about it, suddenly you start to internalize the truth of who you really are.
One other thing is many of the young people have a feeling so closed that they don't want to go on stage. And it's that part of the process in the summer is to get many of them to open up to feel, know they're worthy. And I think that's probably one of the most powerful components is them never feeling good about themselves. And many people do technical work, but by the end they're saying, I want to get up there and say something or share their story. And there's horrifying stories that they share in
Wow.
many cases. And by the end of it, you can see that a healing process took place.
Yes.
And you see them change, and they're talking to you, they're calling you, and saying that they appreciate it, even though we pushed. We pushed.
You have to.
Because we raised the bar of excellence too
Right.
at the same time.
Even though the thing is amazing, the transformation.
Yeah. They're like little closed, buds, right? And then they just blossom by the end. I mean, and really, that is to see the look on their faces, showtime, opening night, and even the last show, that what happens, that is what we
live for.
Yeah, we live for. That's that look on their faces when they go, oh,
and their parents.
I got this. Yes.
And
oh,
family.
I did this, It is so powerful because in the summer we only have about 5 weeks, and the 5th week is show week. So they were working with professional artists, choreographers, vocalists. Of course, we do, the acting, and so they're acting, dancing, African drumming,
the drumming,
African dance, modern. There may be hip hop in our shows. There's hip hop. There may be gospel. There may be whatever it is that best tells our story. We use all of our mediums, all of the ways that our people And these are healing modalities from ancient times.
Yes, yes, they are.
The way we learned, the way we healed was through our music and our dance and our song,
Yeah,
and being able
yes.
to, I think the Dagara people out of Burkina Faso, they don't even have a word for art.
Ooh,
The closest word for art they have
wow.
is
Sacred.
sacred.
Ah.
They say when an artist is working, they don't even
Sacred.
distinguish
Wow.
the spirits at work. So
Woo! I love that. Oh, that's the philosophy. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to take a look at some of the dynamics of what it takes to work with young people, because a lot of people don't have the patience, and there's some things that you got to be prepared for, because they got hormone issues and all kinds of things happening. But we'll talk about that when we get back. And you are watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show, and we are talking about this fabulous organization, Wombwork. We'll be right back after this quick break. We're gonna greet our global family listening to us from all around the world, and then we'll be
Wow.
right.
all right.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Close, close.
Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we've got some people that want to talk to us too. We've got some comments here, and you've got some hearts today, and so they are expressing gratitude that you are doing, and we've got a comment from this is from Sister Cinnabella Gill, and let me pull a comment up here. And one of the exciting things is that a lot of artists that are producing things and working with young people, they're inspired by what you're doing because they can see the value of it. And she says here, let me pull it up on the screen, because she says art is an ancient tool of recounting history and of creating new pathways for the future to hold itself accountable. Oops.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Your work is powerful. The stimuli will be felt and made successful by those who are exposed to it. Bravo. Thanks for your spirit work. And she most definitely appreciates what you do because she's a performing artist, singer, beautiful voice, and it's organized events, and certainly appreciates what it takes to have that level of discipline. And she says, trust is letting go and becoming a part of the process.
Wow.
Yes.
Beautifully said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. That is
You know,
major.
What you gonna say,
I was
Sheila?
going to say that that's one of the main things about working with young people is the trust.
That
You
process.
know, you have to get to that, and
You
that
had to
happens.
earn it. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to have it happens by building, by respecting them. Number one, listen,
Yes. Oh,
really deeply listening to them. And we started a
yeah.
process. We included and we started this process. Well, we use different processes. One of the things we use is the African rites of passage techniques. So we have circles, and we're doing we're talking about history. So all of those things are included. We also incorporate something called the Virtues Project International. It is a character building model that we infuse into our curriculum and all that we do. So we these are 5 strategies. We use them in speaking the language of virtues, setting clear boundaries, um, teachable moments,
Moment,
honoring
yes.
spirit, and also listening. You know, and so excuse me. We incorporate those strategies into our programming, into everything. So when we go in a space, we really very, very intentional about how we speak to young people. We never shame and blame them. We try to use words, even when we want to correct them, we call the behavior that we want to see, as opposed to shaming and blaming them, or name calling or anything like that, because we can set the bar, and we believe in setting the bar for our young people, because we have shows that folks say are Broadway like shows. They are shows that are well done. The young people, when folks come to the shows, they're like, did these young people get this together? Did they really do this? Because we set the bar high for excellence. And we in the process, because we have young people and teenagers. We all know, especially middle schoolers, they're not an easy group to work with sometimes. But we find that when we utilize this process, when we open with circles, when we keep them engaged and movement and dance and singing, and they get a chance to have their voices shared and their voices heard, you start to see a transformation. You're going to see some young people who you thought couldn't do, and even they didn't think they could do. Some of their parents didn't think they could do. And they were on stage and they were doing it. People who thought they couldn't sing, singing. Some folks who thought they couldn't act. This one sister, she wrote some poetry that was so phenomenal. Her mother and aunt's head was like, did she say that? Did she write that?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
But we have to create the space.
Yeah.
You gotta turn off the TV and the devices, for a minute, and let them go inside and really listen to because there's some deep stuff inside of them. Those are the things that we work
It's
on.
some deep stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know. You know.
You're so moved by your work, and it is very moving, as you say, when you hear some of these stories that it's hard for them to open and speak. And Martha Nyla Williams said, "God's peace be to you." Yes, this is major work. It really is. It's spiritual. It's spiritual healing, and a lot of our children don't have outlets where they have adults they can trust them, or condemn them, or cause them to be ridiculed. So they learn to shut down. They learn to or act out.
Yes.
And so what you're providing is really life-saving. You think of somebody who is so frustrated and angry, and they don't have anybody to talk to. That's the child that ends up committing an act of violence because they don't have any other way to express their hurt. So what you're doing truly is life saving.
Yes, ma'am.
It is
Absolutely.
amazing.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Doc.
yes, and we thank God for the understanding and the awareness that of the power of the arts in that way,
Mm.
because and to be able to witness it is a really really great thing. There's a tribe in Africa that they say that if a child voice is not heard, right? Or if the community does not welcome that child's gift when it comes into the earth, that child could die. So we're
Wow.
supposed to open and welcome the gifts. The community is supposed to welcome the gifts. So it is something
Yeah.
when, having the opportunity to create a space where the community can witness these young people's gifts, and even the young people who are working backstage, they are a part of everything because they know that what they're doing backstage, is really, really fueling the show. So when they come out to take their bow because they've, worked the lights, or they worked, with the props, or they did the costuming, helping with the costumes, or setting up the stage, the sets, and they feel empowered as well.
That's right.
So,
And many of them, may I interject, many of them chose to do that because they were so shy and not believing in themselves. But they found strength in learning how to do the lights and the sound, or getting the costumes together. They just began to really believe in themselves that this was important. And it was. It's a very important part of
yeah,
the
because
show.
every job in theater, all the jobs are important. What we do on
Absolutely.
stage and the work that's done backstage.
Right.
Is everybody is a star.
Everybody in their own way.
Yes. So we we were going to say that we also, one of our founders, Mama Nataaska, she's a sweat lodge leader. And so she runs the sweats. For many years, we all would go down, and a part of the process was also to do a sweat for the young people to experience that. And so she herself now, they are doing house building on the land as well as sweats now. So we're going to be going down at some point, taking the young people to the land, because it's important that our young people know about, touch the earth, know about something about the land and about healing and about, eating, how to eat to live. All those things are important. So our approach, we are a theater company, yet it is more than theater that they get.
Healing company. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I
So,
really.
I like
and
healing.
our adult company, someone may ask us to do a show on a particular issue. So we'll go back and write the show. Some organizations ask us, maybe they are having a convention, and they have a particular theme, and they want us to create a theater piece around their theme. We'll do that. Or there are churches or mosques or masjids who've come and ask us to deal with a particular subject matter, maybe relationships between father and daughters and mothers and sons. We created a piece. There was an organization called Women and Fathers who wanted us to create a piece about fathers and the importance of fatherhood. And we wrote a piece about our love and our challenges with our fathers, but we used real stories. The piece, suicide prevention, because it is a piece that, we deal with some very heavy issues, because whatever this organization, suicide prevention, said we need a piece. So we had to delve into our own selves, tell all of these real stories, share the factual information. But not only do we share the things, but we come up with solutions. We go inside as an adult company, we do it. Even our teens, they come up with solutions.
And our 5 to
And
12
our
year
5 to
olds.
12-year-olds, because they've dealt with things about, because we're a social justice theater company, right? They've dealt with issues around smoking, cigarette smoking in the African American community. They dealt with issues around bullying, food sovereignty, And, because the importance of growing food, and, we live in areas in Baltimore, making them aware that there are areas in Baltimore where there's no food that people can have easy access to. Or if there's a store is so filled with poisonous food that's really, killing people and making people very sick. And what does that mean? How can we survive? How can we really thrive? So having to understand that,
Right.
and
That's a critical
things
thing
like
because
smoking. Some of the young people didn't know that. Oh, and parents and people didn't know that you can smoke while nobody's in the room, but all the toxins are in the rug, in the drapes, and so your children, when they breathe it in, it's giving them asthma, all kinds of things. So,
and so many people are not aware of those things,
yes,
and they sit around and smoke around their children, smoke around their babies, or they think it's okay to say, well, they're not in the room, but you have it in the furniture and your clothes, and
yes.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk more about the experience of taking young people from an urban environment into nature environments and how transformative that was. So we'll be right back. We want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. So stay with us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we are back. You are watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And we've got some fabulous guests on today. And we are so excited to bring to you Mama Rashida Forman Bay and Mama K. Lawal-Muhammad, founders of Wombwork Productions, Inc. And this is exciting because we are seeing the experiences our children have transformed their lives. And that's what's most important. Many of our children in an urban environment, they don't have access to parks. Some cities don't really have good parks near the urban communities. You got all these tall buildings and concrete. And some cities don't have any water, like lakes or anything that our children can go to. They don't have forests where this, natural trees and squirrels and, regular animal life. They have not experienced that. When I remember being a camp counselor to some high school students, and we took them on a retreat to the woods. A lot of them had never been away from so-called civilization. They'd never been away from all of the urban environment, and they were just fascinated. I mean, little things like a pond, with fish, and then you realize how deprived our children often are of contact with nature. Tell us about the experience, some of the things that you talked about, like the sweat lodge. And well, first of all, because I know what a sweat lodge is, because I've been my husband and I, we did a lot of work with Native American communities and things like that. But explain first of all what a sweat lodge is and what it's for, and then tell us a bit about your young people and their response to being in a nature environment.
So, a sweat lodge. Well, Mama Nataaska, Mama Walks on Water. She actually, many of us have African and Native blood, right?
Yeah.
And so with both of these indigenous people, we really delve deeper into the practices, the indigenous practices of both. And Mama Nataaska, who is a sweat lodge leader, she has land that's called Mountain Eagle Place. So over the years, many of our young people have gone down and sweated. A sweat is when you use very hot rocks. You go in a womb-like structure, you go inside, and the rocks that are inside are very, very hot, and you become one with Mother Earth. You go inside, you sweat, you pray, when you come out, you feel like you are a new person.
Re-energized.
Yes. And so some of our young people who were in the city, it was a time for them to become one with nature, to not have any other devices and phones, and really listen. And Mama Nataaska does singing and sound therapy. Her daughter too, Maimuna. They do some great things on their land. So yes, and we also we find spaces here as well. We may take young people to the water with water rituals, and where they can go to the water here, because there are spaces here in Baltimore, just right outside of Baltimore, where we can go and they can release and pray and meditate. And it doesn't matter about what religion you are, because we have people of all kinds of religions from all over everywhere. This is where you just go inside and listen to that voice and and become one with the universe in that moment. And
wow.
Young people that haven't experienced it, once they do, I had one young person said, I don't know what all this is, but I want to experience this peace again.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Peace. That's what our young people need. And our brother Dale Guy Madison says, much love to my sisters. And I must
get us together.
Yay,
that's my Dale.
Yes. Now, this is another powerful brother. We're going to meet him next week, next Wednesday. So, hey, stay tuned for that. A creative person. And I love creative people, because what was that word you used? That the word for art in that language means sacred. Yes.
The closest word to that. They don't even have a word for art, because art is everything.
Yes. Oh, art is life. Sacred. Yes. So we have a chance to use our creative skills to teach, to inspire, to motivate. And it really is a blessing. And I'm excited to be able to share these things with our audience. And Dale says at 5:30, watching from Los Angeles. Yes. Good morning.
Number love. We love you back.
Yes. Over in that West Coast. Yes. But I really appreciate the fact that you all are taking the time to work with young people, because I know it's not an easy thing. When people have grown up in environments, a lot of times, around dysfunctional older people, and they're trying to manage life, and sometimes, behavior might not be pleasant, and you have to have the patience to deal with that, and the compassion to deal with a lot of the things that they bring because they're in pain. So what are some ways that you, I guess, met the challenge of working with some of the young people that might have really had some issues. What are some of the most challenging moments when someone may have needed some real mothering because their behavior indicated they were in pain? How did you handle that?
A lot of times it's taking some of the young people one on one and taking time with them to share, in a private kind of a moment, so they can begin to know that you really have their back, that you really have an understanding of some of the things that they're going through. Sometimes this is a great opening. Many of them are closed because they don't trust anyone. And once they begin to learn to trust, and then even in the performance, when they learn the teamwork and how that working together as a team. There might be some people that don't want to go on stage, but they end up being a part of the technical crew. I think at first they thought that that wasn't important, but each person is important, and the work that they're doing is important. And I think that process is a part of the healing as well. Sure. When they know that working as a team and coming up and learning different things, whether it's a light sound or gathering costumes, they become to know that they are needed. This is worthy, and we appreciate you. It becomes a very strong family unit that is amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I think you know, focusing on love and really loving, loving young
Yeah.
people. I mean, even the difficult ones, because we see some
Yeah.
ones that start out very difficult, okay? And right, because it's also setting clear boundaries. Okay, so it's not just I mean, it's loving, but it's loving with boundaries also, and inspiring them to encouraging them to use their self-discipline. When you need to take a break, you might need to take a break, sit out for a minute to collect yourself. Mama Kay said pulling them away from the group one on one, dealing with whatever. Sometimes something's going on. It's if somebody is finding out how they're feeling, because sometimes when somebody's sad, that means they need time to grieve. They may be grieving about something and you don't know. If somebody's angry, they may need help to reset some boundaries with somebody with something, or some help with processing that. Or if somebody is feeling really scared about something, maybe they really do need some protection, or they need some reassurance to help them through because they're feeling scared about something. So these processes came from another, because we take all of the different tools from various places. We take Rites of Passage, the Virtues Project. There's a Mama and Baba in Atlanta, who you should have on too at some point, along with Mama Nata Oscar. They're called the Warrior Healer Builder process. They teach this process. We took their course and had our board members do it as well. So we're always searching out effective ways to help our young people go through the stages they need to go through so they can move into manhood and womanhood, into adulthood, to get there safely.
And it's very important that the many people that we had just for the summer, Rashida, yogist. We had named some of the other.
Oh yeah, we had some people who taught yoga.
Wow.
That was a Tai Chi master who came in to teach Tai Chi. We said a therapist who came, and because we were talking about violence, who came and talked to them about strategies for dealing with violence.
Very important.
We came and strategies for when you feel like you want to be violent. You know what I'm saying? Then we drumming.
Drumming is
a very, very cathartic, right?
Cathartic. Perfect.
And drumming. We had one of our former performers and cast members who came in and worked with them on sound healing.
Mamuna,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh,
and
wow.
so them on sound healing, on just making sound and letting the sound move through your body.
It was powerful.
What that it was very great. And so all of those things, that's a part of the whole process.
Bringing in community, expanding
Yes,
with our communities.
yes. Um,
Mm.
really, when we're talking about violence, we had a brother who came in. He served 37 years in prison.
Right.
Wow.
A life sentence. He's
Wow.
out now. He's served these years. He came in and talked to them about his crime that he committed, how he did that, and how he's grown from that, and where he is today, and how they don't have to take the path that he took, you know. And so he talked very frankly with them. So we have community members who come to and greet and talk to them with their own wisdom, because really we believe everything we need, right, is right in our community. Ooh, the wisdom is in our community.
Wow.
There's wisdom in our
Yes,
community.
it
We know
is.
there's a lot of things. We know that we are suffering from the effects of oppression, because injected oppression, right? We know that we are still healing from those things. And many of the behaviors that we see are direct result of, for people of color, the oppression that America has put
Put
upon
upon us. That's right.
us here. And
Teach.
we're still healing from that.
Absolutely.
Still healing from oppression. That's
Yeah.
real. You know?
So the parents that are the young people, right? You know,
Mhm.
they're in healing mode. So some of the
Yeah.
things we go back, sometimes we invite them to come in the circle. So it
Wow.
may be, you know,
Some of the stories the children share, the pain has been amazing. Those real stories,
that's right.
those that they did this particular summer were really, really powerful.
We had one year where the parents we were dealing with addictions, the young people were sharing. Some of the parents got up and apologized to their children
Publicly.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
sorry.
That is. I forgot about that.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't, you know.
I made a
You
mistake.
know how this was affecting you. Yes.
Sorry for what I did.
Now that was some power. I cried days after that.
The whole audience. We had a
Wow.
80-some-year-old woman who was a recovering alcoholic who
Mm,
spoke
Ooh.
to
it was
the
something.
young people. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
and the thing about it is, we know that there are certain communities economically that are going through things, but it doesn't matter what your social economic background
That's
is.
right.
All of our young people, if you live in America, you are going through some things.
Hello.
And
That's
some
true.
of the
That's
same.
true.
And so we had a year that it was a show that we did called Communication Show. And this show we together with the Native American community here in Baltimore.
That's right. It was
We did
beautiful.
a show on communications. Didn't matter, the same issues about wanting to fit in.
Yeah, it's a human thing. Well, we got to take one last break, and when we come back, I know there are a lot of people that are wondering, well, how are they doing this? So we'll talk about how to manifest the resources necessary, because sometimes we make things more complicated than they need to be. When if we would just come up with the idea and do it, then what we need comes to us. But we'll talk about how you all manifested what you need in order to do all these powerful, fantastic things that you've done. And maybe some other people will be inspired to just go ahead and follow that vision of what they would like to do to contribute. And everybody can give something because everybody is valuable. So we'll be right back after this last break. So we want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Yes, we are back. You're watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And I just want to pause for just one quick second. You know, a brother who has worked with us over the years, he's a powerhouse of information and research, and has over the years been really insightful and informative. His name is Lionel Nixon, and he made his transition recently, and I'll be attending his services after this show. And thank you to our dear brother minister Robert Floyd Plump for informing us that they will be today at that's October 1st at the South Shore Country Club, 7059 South Shore Drive at 5 p.m. today. So for more information, you go to Robert Facebook page. But to announce for those many of us who have benefited from his work, he has a large St. Louis community following, I believe. And it's his father is one of those historic figures that had such an impact in the civil rights movement and so forth. So just wanted to certainly announce that today. For those who know and loved Lionel Nixon, definitely someone who has made some history. So, you know, we often in our work, we tend to dismiss people who don't have a title or someone we decide is important enough. But you all have demonstrated that anybody can be a teacher. I mean, to have had someone share their information, their experience of being a drug addict or being in prison, that's wisdom that is transformative. A lot of times, young people will be more influenced by somebody who's come through a bad experience than somebody whose life is perfect and they get all the credentials and they got money and all that. So it doesn't take someone who has been through an educational institution in order to teach or in order to share information. So thank you all for seeing the value of everybody in our community and bringing them in to teach our children. But it takes courage to start something. And most people, they think they have to wait until they get a big bankroll before they put forth an idea. What gave you the courage to just go for it and do it? And then how did the resources start coming to you as you began the process of doing productions?
When we first started, we didn't know how to even run a nonprofit. We didn't know anything about. We didn't even know how to run. Well, computer. It was a floppy disk back then, I think.
Way back, the floppy disk.
I did have a lot of theater work that I did. That was helpful from my perspective.
We were artists.
Yeah, we were all artists. So that part was.
But the actual running of the business part
that was a whole other thing.
We didn't know all of that at first. We didn't have the understanding. We were artists. Mama Kay, of course, has a extensive theater background, right? And Mama Natasha's a singer, I'm a writer and everything. So everybody, and the thing was that we went ahead and did it anyway. We started reaching out, asking people, well, how do you do this? Got somebody to, do our articles of incorporation. And then we were able to we've got our nonprofit status, and then we were able, and we just built on as we went.
Let me stop. You know the thing that was the most powerful about the three of us? We were mothers.
Mhm.
And so that Wombwork, we were mothers,
Mhm.
so we knew what we wanted our personal children to have, and all. And my mother was a teacher, and she used to teach from every angle in the summer out of her house. So this was like for us was important, but we had some mothers, each of us, that were really involved with encompassing community. And I think that part of our bloodlines that the three of us had was a part of the movement of that being important. Our own personal children and the community of children.
Yes. I
just wanted to interject.
No,
that was brilliant. And that was a brilliant interjection.
But that makes a difference, though. Being a mother.
Mama K's a comedian too.
I'm a clown.
That helps. You always need comic relief. Some of those tense moments. Sometimes you need somebody to make you laugh.
And then it grew, and it grew, and we built onto it, and we in the process, grant writers and people who worked to build that, and now to sustain us, we had to write grants, and to accept donations because we're a nonprofit. So if y'all want to donate, www.wombwork.com to donate.
You didn't do a commercial, but don't forget us, baby.
Well, we have your contact information down at the bottom of the screen, so jot that down, you all. If you miss it, run the program again so you can get it again and write it down, because we really want people to be involved in the healing process. One thing to talk about the problem is another thing to present a solution, and that's what you all are doing with Wombwork Productions. And I know that there are people who want to help if they can. Yes,
that's true.
Absolutely. I wanted to add that we do theaters, right? We've done theaters, but we also do street corners and basketball courts. We've done prisons. We've gone to the prison to do work. We have a project now that we're doing with the Department of Juvenile Justice.
This is the second year with them.
Yes. And we're going in and into detention centers and working with young people. We go wherever the people are, right? Is where we go. And
so how does that work if someone invites you into, say a community center or something? Maybe they got some children that are, got social issues, and they want to help. They want to bring positivity. How does that work? How do you go in?
We go in and we help them to tell their story. Whatever the story is.
And they get drumming and singing and music and all the
whole process. And that community tells their story, and that community shares, those young people share their truths. And from there, and then we build. So when we went into the prison, we did a show. It was like an urban musical, and it was this gang violence prevention show. Many of the brothers in the prison, they rewrote it. Some of the stuff they said, no, we ain't gonna say this. Take that out. Put that in. And it was their first time, like having costumes on, because they were wearing prison outfits, right? These were some young men who were lifers. And we did a show for 250 other residents there, right? And because they were about telling them not to come back. You all are here now, but don't do what we did for the other brothers that were inside. So, so we take this theater. I think we were mothers also who wanted to make a change for our own children, but for our community.
That's right.
And if we want to, we gotta, that thing, you gotta be the change in the world. If I want to see some change, go on and be that. If you have an idea about how to make something better, just start it. Just do it.
That's right.
Don't waver about it. Don't worry about it if you don't have no money. We had some times we didn't have no money when we were doing this, when we first started. We didn't have, thank God we did have some husbands with jobs.
That's important that your spouses be on board with your passion and what you're doing, because
that's right. They loved it.
Yeah.
you need your partner to be cheering you on and
right.
filling in and even doing things, drive you here or do that, run this thing over there.
Absolutely,
You need
absolutely.
those things. You have to have supportive partnerships, and when your spouse is standing by your side and working with you and encouraging you, it makes all the difference in the
It
world.
does. It
Yes, it
really
does.
does. Good
Yeah.
point. Very good
Mhm.
point.
Which is why we always at the end of the show. I know people know that we had to say thank Brother Elliot and Brother Isaiah back in the day, because and we did that because sometimes they
They went through stuff, picking
Right.
up folks, doing
Right.
this or that, whatever it
Right.
took.
Mhm.
Wow.
all
Well,
of us.
I'm so grateful to have met you all
Mhm.
through our dear brother Dale. I'm grateful that
Thank
you
you,
all
Dale.
are making a difference in this world. And I encourage you, and I encourage anyone who sees that this is what is transforming our world, listening to young people, allowing them to speak and tell their story and heal their pain. Contact them. The information is right on the bottom of the screen. Wombwork Productions. We want you to give money and whatever other resources you can so that this can spread, because this is what we need. And I thank you all so very much. And I didn't
We
realize
thank
it is
you.
time
You're
to go.
Thank you so much. I
And your
appreciate this.
sisters, I love the pictures of you as a family. That made
It was very
made my
beautiful.
day. Oh, so beautiful.
Oh, wonderful,
We can
wonderful.
come.
Well,
We can
thank you.
invite us. We can come to Chicago.
Yeah.
I come to Chicago often, so I'm coming and knocking on your door.
We're going to make that happen. We bring in Wombworks to
Yeah.
Chicago. Yes, we are. We are
Yeah.
going to make that happen. Well, thank you all. And thank you all for watching us on this edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. Join us tomorrow. We've got a big surprise for you, because we are growing and expanding, and we're going to be adding evening shows to our morning schedule.
I love
So you'll
it.
be able to watch us 5 days a week, twice a day, Monday through Friday. We'll be announcing that tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. And yes, wonderful. It's growth and expansion is so exciting. And we're glad for all of you all who've stayed with us for all these years and helped us grow and share. And thank you all so much from Wombwork Productions. We love you, and we'll look forward to having you back real
We love
soon.
you, sisters.
Love you, family. Peace.
Yeah, I certainly will share. Peace and blessings. See you all next time.
He was excellent.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.